Here's why I quit my job to go full-time as a creative. Honestly, 9 to 5s have never really made sense to me, and I'm not saying that, going full-time as a creative is meant for everybody. You definitely need to be disciplined. This is a solo journey. You need to be responsible for marketing, keeping track of your savings. All the equipment is on you, so if something breaks, it can be very expensive. But I think one of the biggest reasons why I went full-time as a creative is because I know my potential, and I felt like just even doing creative stuff in a 9 to 5 type situation, it just never really felt like I felt right. I always felt like I wasn't using my potential to the fullest. And I mean, just the way most 9 to 5s are set up are, I think, ridiculous. Like, you can't be on your phone, you can't get up and use the restroom too much, or your manager might say something and write you up. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're working by yourself or for other people, you're gonna have to work with other people. You're always gonna have someone above you, and you're gonna have to learn how to communicate. But just the commute every day was super tiring and draining, and then having to come home and do my own creative stuff. You'd be surprised how much money you can make as a full-time creative going by yourself. But I think where a lot of people get it messed up is the work ethic. A lot of people get into the solo journey thinking they can, go to Disneyland on Monday and then do something on Wednesday and then do something on Friday. Like, you're going to be working just as much as a 9 to 5 job if you want to have 9 to 5 type results, if not more. And then you're going to have more responsibility on it. But the joy and the fulfillment I've gotten out of it is just so worth it. And like I said, it's not meant for everybody. If you feel similarly like you're not using your fullest potential, the younger the younger you give it a go, the better, because the older you get, you're just going to have more responsibilities and more things on your plate. More people are going to be dependent on you. While you're young, you're in your 20s, you can take all the risk in the world, and worst comes to worst, you can always get a 9 to 5 later. They aren't going anywhere. But I think the way the world is changing, I'm noticing a lot more working from home type situations. And I think that's really cool because it allows people to still live their lives and not feel like, they're wasting it working for someone else. That all being said, I don't think 9 to 5s are a bad thing at all. And a lot of people with a lot more have lost everything and had to go back to a 9 to 5. So even I'm open to doing a 9 to 5, but what will keep me going is just understanding it's just a means to an end. If you don't have a game plan, then I can understand why it feels so hopeless. I've met people working at the Amazon warehouse for 20 years and they're completely happy, and that's totally cool. But I've also met other people working at other warehouses and just other jobs like Jack in the Box and stuff, that just hate their lives. They hate going to work every day, and they've lost all hope. They feel like that's the only way to make money, but that's just because that's all they know. But you got to experiment. There's so much money out there, there's so much opportunity, and until you tap into it, you won't believe it. A lot of this stuff on social media just seems so unrealistic. These lifestyles seem so unrealistic, and I'm not saying I have the perfect lifestyle and I have everything made for me, but just the fact that I can create content and express myself the way I want to with my creative passion and get paid for it, and just being able to make ends meet, I'm so grateful. Like, if I can just pay my bills with this for the rest of my life, I'll be totally happy with it. But I don't know anybody in the creative space where they're truly giving it their all and then they just have that. Like, they're making a lot of money, so of course I'm gonna get after it. But if you're feeling some type of way about your job, then just quit. Go, especially if you're young. Like, I get it if you have a family to depend on and you have other dependents on you and stuff, but if you're young, you're in your 20s, and you want to go try and be a rapper, you want to go try and be a content creator or a social media manager, then by all means go do it, because you're only going to live once and you only have so much time on this earth. And as a creative that is doing this full time himself, and who used to watch Peter McKinnon and YCM Imaging and stuff, and look at these creators, and I'm like, oh, I can't do what they do. Like, no one wants to hear what I have to talk about. That couldn't be further from the truth. And it was always this simple, but I just got it stuck in my head that I'm not good enough. And all your doubts and worries are implanted by somebody else who is probably hating, or just, it didn't work out for them, so they're going to hate on you and try and bring you down. Misery loves company.